H.P. Lovecraft once wrote, "The oldest and strongest emotion known to mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is the fear of the unknown." Humans have always feared what we can't understand. We use labels in order to make sense of the unknown. Labels used to help humans during humanity's most primitive years. It would help them determine which berries were poisonous or which animals were dangerous. Now, we use labels in order to identify others to different groups, whether it be to identify their race, religion, or gender. And as useful as labels can be, they have now become counterproductive. As a society, we tend to identify what we don't understand as abnormal. Abnormal, a word defined to be deviating from what is normal, typically in a way that is undesirable. Which begs the question, who are we to judge what is normal? Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, being normal is a concept created to hold back diversity due to our fear of the unknown. In the past, the powerful members of society created a standard of normalcy out of fear of minority groups. Those who are either rich, white, straight, or male have always been at the top of society's food chain. Some of these people have abused their privilege by creating a standard of normalcy that dictated society. Society has used that ideal in order to hate and discriminate against those who didn't meet their status quo. Women, people of color, and the LGBTQ+ community have all had to fight for their right to be recognized as normal. As recent as the early 2000s, the majority of Western society deemed homosexuals as unnatural, abnormal. Some even believed homosexuals should undergo conversion therapy in order to become normal again. Society believed that homosexuals weren't normal because they didn't conform to society's belief that the only normal sexual orientation was being heterosexual. The same could be demonstrated with racism prior to the American Civil Rights Movement of the 1950s, before which the majority of white Westerners believed that Black people didn't conform to their ideal of the norm. One of the earliest rights movements was the women's rights movement. Women had to fight for the right to be deemed equal to men, and it was only through their fight that they were seen as normal individuals with their own hopes and aspirations that went beyond being just wives or mothers. Now, we may believe all of this oppression is in the past, but as the common expression states, history repeats itself. Humanity is notorious for never truly learning from its past mistakes. With every new decade arises a new problem, a new way people are being marginalized. Currently, it is those with mental and physical disabilities who are criticized for not fitting into society's preconceived notion of what it means to be normal. Some, without any disabilities, can't seem to wrap their minds around the fact that disabled people deserve access to the same things as them. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid someone's going to steal your job just because your building now has a wheelchair ramp? Another hot topic that seems to plague the media is religion, more specifically Islam. A lot of people, including a lot from our very own province, believe that Muslims are brainwashed. Too many in Western society believe that their ideal of being normal doesn't include Muslims, and that can have devastating impacts and consequences, as we've seen recently with the mass shooting in New Zealand. Additionally, a large percentage of people don't approve of transgender people. This is because being transgender doesn't fit society's norm of identifying with the gender you were assigned with at birth. In addition, the concept of being transgender is unknown to most, and people fear what is unknown to them. We all have a different standard for what it means to be normal that comes from our background and our environment, the place we grew up in, the people we grew up with, and the culture that we experienced. For example, those like myself who've grown up in a middle-class suburbia don't often consider poverty as a common occurrence. Yet, as we grow up, we gain new experiences, we get to see life through the perspective of others. It is with these new experiences that comes the realization that normalcy isn't just a small box with a specific set of requirements that fits the majority of people. Normalcy, in its most naive concept, isn't real. Society compares people to a standard that just isn't obtainable. No one will ever be 100% the same. Therefore, there is no normal. Not everyone is similar, and that's more than okay. Diversity should be celebrated and cherished, not feared due to our fear of the unknown. The ideal of being normal stems from the most privileged members of society who exerted their influence in order to discourage diversity out of their fear of the unknown. I urge us all to start questioning what our idea of being normal means. By doing so, we will become more open-minded and accepting towards others, which can only lead to good things. By allowing others to be their true, authentic selves, we let diversity blossom and the world reaps great benefits. I'd like to leave you all with a quote from Captain Holt from the television series Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Every time someone steps up and says who they are, the world becomes a better, more interesting place. Thank you.